Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So today I'm bringing you the tutorial for the project I made for the Stamp and Hop August blog hop, and the theme of this blog hop was favourite bundle. And so I've gone to the annual catalogue and I've picked out the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. It's very hard to pick a favourite because I do love so many, but this is beautiful, and it wasn't one that I bought straight away, but really like it. I really like what I've done with it so far, and I've gone with the 3D project with this one, and I'm going to use the two sunflower dies, and I'm using that stamp which I have already mounted, and that's it. No sentiment, just those things. And I'll give you a quick look at my prototype. I always quite often make a prototype with non-SU stuff, and although this is Pretty Peacock, I'm going to use Pretty Peacock cardstock for this base, but I just wanted to sort of give the effect, and so I've done my stamping over. I've done that before, just to make me look and see. Yeah, that'll look lovely. Yeah, this is the box, and it measures, so it's basically a 3-inch square box, but it's 2.5 inch deep, so it's nice big box that you could put all sorts in it. I didn't make it for anything specific. I just I basically sized it by the size of the sunflower. Okay, so let's get on. Enough waffle. So the lid, I've used thick Whisper White for the lid because I like the lid to be a little bit stronger. You can do a reinforced lid, but I haven't. So this is 6x6, and then the base is 8x8, but I've took a 16th off each side, so basically it's 7 and 15/16, but that's a mouthful. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. So let's get the scoreboard. We'll do the scoring really quickly because the scoring is not hard, and then we'll get on with the fun stamping and colouring. Okay, so on the base you're scoring at 2.5 on all 4 sides, and all the measurements will be over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk. There'll probably be a little grey thing flicking up there. That will take you there, and I will link to the original blog if you didn't see it, and you can see what everybody else has made, what their favourite bundles are. Bundles are good because you get 10% discount, so who doesn't like a bit of discount? And you score this at 1.5 on all 4 sides. So it's just a standard sort of lidded box, really. Just this one differs because of the decoration. So that's it. That is what we're doing. And so we will be folding and burnishing all of these score lines, and the lid and the base are made up in exactly the same way. But we will be doing some stamping on the lid. Before we start putting it together. So we're going to stamp on each of these sections, and that's the bit that gives you the little bit of sunflower round the edges, and it's such a beautiful detailed stamp that this is a really good effect. So let's just move my dies out of the way. Let's get me Pretty Peacock. I didn't bring me Pretty Peacock stamp pad, Wally. There I was, so good. I got everything. Like, yeah, I got my blends, got my Bermuda Bay because I need that for later, and I forgets this. What's a Wally? So I am stamping over all of it because if I stamped over half of it, I'd miss a bit. So, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to go that half. I kind of feel that's the top if you look at the centre, and I'm just sort of eyeballing it so that it's, am I off camera? I don't know. So that it's kind of in the centre, making sure that that top is not going over the top like so. So it's on there like so, and then we just ink up again and repeat. Doesn't matter if it goes over these a little bit because they will be tucked in. There we go. And I'm not trying for it to be identical, just going for as much as I can. It's a handmade thing, so there are going to be slight variations in each of them, but I just thought this was really pretty when I did it. There we go. So that's that, and whilst I've got that out, I'm going to stamp on here, but I am stamping the one for that's going to be cut out. I'm going to stamp it in Bermuda Bay. I think Bermuda Bay goes really well with there we go. I'm so delighted that I've got Stamping Mist again. We haven't been able to use it for ages, so I gave these a good old clean. And I do like the chamois, but I do prefer, I feel that the scrubby gets into the bits, especially on a stamp like this that's so detailed. So yes, for the one on the top, I feel Bermuda Bay goes really well. I did a little bit of practice at, I was practicing my colouring with the blends, and I used Bermuda Bay for the outline, and then coloured in with that's my book with my measurements, gone for a Burton, coloured in with blends, and it actually works really well, I think. There we go. Actually, looking at it, I don't think I did. No, scrub that. I actually stamped it in Pretty Peacock and coloured with the yes, because I'd made this ages ago and I forgot. What I've done is I've stamped it in Pretty Peacock and I've coloured it with Bermuda Bay blends. So there we go, memory like a sieve. So I'll just turn that over and we'll stamp it on that side. There we go. Oh, I just love this colour. I think it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, so wrong side. I've got a little, my friend Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting, it was her idea to put a little, I've got a little blue enamel, it's a star actually, to let me know that that's the wet side. You have got a sun and the rain, but it's hard to see. So that works a treat. So what I'm doing is I'm using the Bermuda Bay blends and the Pretty Peacock blend as well to colour this in. So I'm using the dark side to just colour the bottom half, going every other petal for a bit, and then with the light sort of coming in from the top, and then just blend it together a bit where they meet. I'm doing it fairly quickly. I'm not doing this like a really perfect colour, where I have taken more time when I want a really nice sort of blend, because it's actually going to get covered up quite a bit, so you may not notice those little bits. And then I'll just do a little bit of more flicking up, and then the flicking down to meet. And then remembering which one's which. Carry on going like that. I am enjoying using blends a bit more and getting better results, which is good because they're quite an expensive way to just use them for colouring ribbon, which was kind of what I did when I first got them. That was my main reason for buying them though, to be fair, so I could colour ribbon. There we go. And then I'll just carry on doing that, but I'll speed you up. So that's me colouring in, and then what I did was I took a Pretty Peacock and I just sort of went round these edges a bit and up where the stamped lines were, to sort of emphasise it a little bit more, particularly where they overlap. So we could see these petals a bit more. Sort of went in the centre a bit, or so. This will in fact be, most of this will be covered up with the die cut on top, but I still wanted to colour it in to make sure that there wasn't any white bits, because there are holes in the die cut. So I'm going to do the very light one on this section. Going in, and then I'm going to go out from the centre with the darker Bermuda Bay, and you will see the centre. And then I'm taking the darker Bermuda Bay and sort of going out in strokes, so they get a little bit of mixing. And then back with the light one. I'm just going to go around in a circle there so it blends it a bit. And then I'm just going to go around in the middle as well. So taking away some of those harsher edges. That we've got. I've only got the dark Pretty Peacock because I bought them when they were in the last catalogue, and when you could buy them separately, and I was only thinking of buying it to make ribbon because I thought they're only lasting another year, and there was some projects I wanted to do that I wanted some Pretty Peacock ribbon, so I just bought the one and didn't bother buying it whilst you still could. So just going around it like that. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it is getting covered up, but I'm just trying to make sure there's no sort of white bits. So that's my sunflower, and what I'm going to do now is I'll be die cutting that with that, and I'm going to die cut a white one. I'm not die cutting a Pretty Peacock because otherwise that would be plain Pretty Peacock, and I want to colour it so that it blends with the rest of the flower, and I coloured that in Pretty Peacock as well once it was die cut out. So I'm going to make the boxes up and then I will die cut, and then we'll put that on. So the way you make boxes up is you cut up the inside of those score lines. I've done that wrong. I like to do it, I should have cut up that one, but never mind, that is going to have two on one side. Don't normally like to do it with two on one side, so I'm going to make sure I don't make the same mistake with these. So normally I rotate. I had a lapse of concentration there because Ed's out in the backyard repotting plants, and I'm sitting there thinking, is he going to make a noise? So normally I do it that way so that there is just one single one on each side, but I've done that bit wrong. It's no great drama. And then I'm just notching these a tad. So notch all these corners like so. I like to cut in that direction, so I turn it over so that I can cut it like so. I have got dodgy hands, and that just works for me. Might not be anything to do with my dodgy hands, it just might be me being awkward and fussy, but that is how I like to do it. And then we've just got that one. Like so. Get rid of them. And then you just need to put glue on these flaps. Normally they would be folded over and it would be easy to do, but I can't because I do it wrong. So use your favourite adhesive. We have the new Stamp and Seal Plus, you could use that. I do have Fast Fuse, but I am a wet glue fan, so I'm using wet glue. Tombow is a lovely strong glue and works a treat for this job. And then all you're doing is that cut edge and that scored edge need to meet. Might be a slight bit of oozing. There we go, and then I like to take my bone folder and give it a good press. Okay, so that's that done, and then the lid is done in exactly the same way, but I will turn this to show you what I mean, just in case you've never seen me make a box before. So I turn. That's really annoying, isn't it? My scissor charm banging on the desk. There we go. And then we just notch these corners. That was a really rubbish notch. But there we go. Doesn't matter. You're not going to see it. It will be glued down. And then I like to turn it. And I say, when I said it didn't matter if it goes over the sides, because you aren't going to see them anyway. And the little bit of stamping that has gone over the sides, I'm cutting off. Did in the prototype ink up these edges, which I quite like the look of, and I shall probably do that. Not that I've brought my sponge dauber to the desk, but there you go. And I'm just gonna double check. Yep, does fit nicely. So we want glue on all these four corners. So I do think that little sunflower looks really lovely on the edge. I like things that are not traditional colours. I could have used the new bumblebee actually, that would have been quite nice, wouldn't it? Well, that would have been like a proper colour, wouldn't it? And then I could have coloured it in Daffodil Delight. I have those blends. Don't have all the blends, I just sort of picked through colours that I thought would be useful, and I thought I would likely to be using them for colouring flowers, so I picked flowers, sort of flower colours. Although yellow is not my favourite colour, they are useful for the centre of a flower. So before I press that really hard down, I am putting the lid over the box. I'm going to do it on the bottom actually, so I might need a little bit of giving it. Not liking that way. It's going to be a snug fit, this. So snug it's not going to fit. This is always the danger. Normally I fit it around the box, but I've actually, let's see if I can unstick it a bit. And try again. Those edges. Might need a little bit more glue on some bits. So if you build the box around the base, then you know it will fit. There's my tip. Because it is very easy to stick it over too far. But that is now built round the base. So now we can take it off. And it will go on nicely. So there, if that ever happens to you, I say test your lid out before you properly burnish it. Now I can properly give it a rub. I knew where my bone folder was, hiding behind my ruler. I'm going to put a little bit more glue in that one because it's come up on that edge a little bit. Need to wipe with a tissue. So it oozed. There we go. And that's that done. So that's the box. So then we just need the flower on top. So I'll get them die cut and we'll assemble it. So that's it die cut. So you do get a white border around there, and so I just thought I might just sponge round it. I didn't on the original one, but I think I'm going to on this one. So just got a sponge dauber and my Pretty Peacock ink, and I'm just going to sponge around the edges so there's no white bits. It also gives the end of the petals a little bit of extra colour, which is quite nice. I managed to stick ink in there. What an idiot. Hopefully that will not notice. Don't do that. Stick your thumb in your ink and then stick it in that. So what I'm doing with this cutout is I'm going to go round the petals in the marker so that they're dark, and I'm going to colour the centre a little bit like that, which is why I haven't done it in Pretty Peacock cardstock, because I want to have that variation of colour to match the colouring on there. It doesn't take too long to colour these bits in. When I originally did it, I sort of for my prototype, I did it in white because I've got about 8 sheets left of Pretty Peacock, which is probably enough for me for the running of the in colour. And so I didn't want to use it up, which is why I stamped the base. But then I coloured in the centre and thought, actually, I prefer that. So it was quite a fortunate thing that I did that. It worked well in the end. So being frugal, or tight, sort of worked for me. Oh, that's not the lid. Oops. So now I want to sort of colour this inside. So I'm going to bring my Bermuda Bay back. So I'm going to sort of colour around the edge in the lightest one. I might use the other end, actually be a bit quicker, and then just colour around in the darker. And then I'm going to flick there to blend it. And then I'm going to get a Pretty Peacock and put that around. And then get my darker Bermuda Bay and flick around to mix those. So I'm flicking from the Bermuda Bay to the Pretty Peacock, and then I'm going to go back over it the other way. And I'm going to go over this a few times so that it's nicely blended. So we haven't got any harsh lines, and it matches the colouring on the inside there, which has also got a bit of stamped image as well as just the colouring. And then I'm going to do a bit of a circular motion now. As we go around, and then go around with this one. I've forgotten how much I enjoy colouring in. But quite like the way that sort of turns out, and so now it matches beautifully on top there, so it's worth doing. And you can see when it's on there, there's one or two edges there that's still got white bits on, so I'm just going to go over those. And then the hardest bit is matching them up, so just check there. That's the matchy up bit. So I'm just going to poke out that hole there. That's done. I can see Ed waving up to me. He's got the pressure cleaner and he wants to clean the backyard, all the paving stones, and he just likes me to be there so he doesn't flood the utility where the hose is attached, just to make sure it's on right. So there we go. So it's just, all I'm doing is sticking it around that centre bit, not sticking it along these, so they're sort of are able to sort of stand up a bit. So then we can now glue that on top of the box. So you see where I stamped it before, it doesn't matter because it's all getting stuck down. Does overlap a tiny little bit, but as I say, it doesn't matter. That has moved slightly. Yeah, move that back. And that's my box. And I say on the prototype, I did ink the edges, but I'm going to leave this one uninked. I kind of did it because I did smudge a bit, but I'm leaving it uninked, this one. So there, you can decide yourself whether you want to ink the edges or not. I just went around it with a sponge dauber, but that's me pretty box. So hope you like that. Hope you go and see what everybody else has done and what bundles they've used. And I say bundles are good because you get a 10% discount. So they are worth looking out for. They're all sort of at the end of towards the end of the catalogue, all the bundles are sort of put together, but when you see them for the first time in the catalogue, you will have a little box on the page to show where the bundle is. In fact, shall I show you? Let's get the catalogue and show you. So this one actually is right at the beginning, well, fairly near the beginning. So there it is, and it's got their bundle, so you can see where you can save the money. But if you flick to the back of the catalogue, they're there, so it shows all the die bundles, and then before that you've got all the couple of pages before, you've got, after the punches, all the punch bundles. And I'm saying they all, buy them together, you save 10%. Okay, so just in case you hadn't noticed that. So yeah, I will link to the blog hop in the blog post that you'll find linked down below. And yeah, hope you like that, hope you give it a try, and share with me. You can share with me on my Facebook group if you wish to join that. Okay, Nigezza Creates Crafty Place. You'll find a link to that also down below and on my blog. Okay, thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.